All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Thank you for joining us today for our discussion about unmasking anonymous website traffic. My name is Putney Clues. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer of Bombora and proudly a two-time client from prior lives. For most of us, our website is a primary way that we interact with our prospects and customers, and our most voluminous potential source of first-party data. Yet, 97% on average of company website traffic is anonymous. That's like having 100 people over to your house and not knowing 97 of them and not being able to introduce yourself. Companies that use first-party data at scale to fuel their marketing strategies are achieving accelerated revenue growth. But building and using first-party data is hard. 61% of us identify this as a significant challenge. So the goal of today's discussion is to make things a little easier. In the next 45 minutes or so, we're going to spend a bit of time introducing Bombora's Visitor Insights tool, a solution that identifies website traffic, giving you real-time visibility into the accounts visiting your site. It introduces you to the 97%. Then we'll get to the really valuable part of the session, in which two Bombora customers will share how they're using our Visitor Insights solution today. Then finally, we have time for panel discussion and we'll open the floor up to questions. Before we go any further, a bit of housekeeping. If you have any technical issues while viewing this discussion, please just enter this information into the Q&A and one of our support colleagues will help you. Also use the Q&A throughout the discussion to enter any questions that you may have, and we'll reflect on them at the end of the discussion. And finally, we are recording, and we will share the complete webinar by the end of the week. So with that, let's dive in. So what is Bombora's Visitor Insights? This omniscient tool that you say can help me identify and understand my site traffic? Visitor Insights is an industry-leading identity solution that uses Bombora's patented methodology, bringing together deterministic, behavioral, and IP2C, or IP to company, data to identify a site visitor with a high degree of accuracy, and then enrich that account identity with extensive firmographic, geographic, and behavioral data. Okay, but you might say, what is it really? Visitor Insights is a simple tag that you place on your website, like a LinkedIn or meta tag for retargeting, that delivers rich visitor data in real time. Importantly, it does not slow down the performance of your site or impede performance or the experience in any way. As the visual in front of you shows, for each anonymous site visitor, we are able to tell you company name and domain, as well as attributes like the likely function of the visitor, their specific geographic location, and something that I think is really important, their current interests based on their recent online research behavior. I am sure that you're already thinking about all the ways, Shalane, can you go back one, please? I am sure that you're already thinking about all the ways that this data can be used, and there are many. I'm going to share with you a few typical applications, and then our guests will talk about how they're using the data within their own organizations. So typical applications that we see, number one, a holistic understanding of your site traffic. Remember, before Visitor Insights, you were only looking at 3% of the traffic. The holistic view, the full close to 100%, allows you to better understand the traffic on your site, uncover potential new target audiences, and build more fulfilling content. Another use case, number 2, smarter targeting and retargeting. Once you've identified who's visiting your site, you can build new audience segments for existing campaigns, as well as retargeting campaigns that directly reflect recent site activity. Our Visitor Insights data is very flexible. It integrates directly with downstream DSP and SSP partners, as well as CDPs and ad servers, allowing you to shape and create campaigns in real time while your company is still top of mind. Another use case, site and chatbot personalization. Visitor Insights gives you visibility into how distinct audiences or perhaps functional groups are interacting with your site content. Further, because visitors' identities are enriched with their interests beyond your site, and you know more about them, you can really customize content to engage them more deeply on your site and in places like your chatbot experiences. And finally, campaign measurement. Using Visitor Insights and the identity information, you can assess which campaigns that you're running drive the most relevant traffic by segment and use these insights to adjust your efforts based on the data. So now we're going to talk about some success stories. And this is perhaps the moment that you've all been waiting for. And I'm very pleased to introduce our 2 guests today, Catherine Wong and Raul Bellini. Catherine is a marketing analyst at Korn Ferry, and Raul is the Senior Director, Data Analytics and Decision Sciences at World Kinnect. We're going to start this section by turning things over to Catherine.
Thank you, Putney, for inviting me to share Korn Ferry's experience with Visitor Insight Tags. It is a pleasure to be here and discuss how we utilize this powerful tool to enhance our web measurement and strategy. So before diving into more details, I'd like to briefly introduce Korn Ferry and what we do so that it gives you a little bit more context. So Korn Ferry is a organizational consulting firm, and we work with our clients to design optimal structures, roles, and responsibilities. And the VI tags have allowed us to uncover valuable insights we weren't able to identify before. And over the next few minutes, I'll happily walk you through the challenges we faced, how we implemented the VI tags, and utilized the insights. So moving on to the challenges. Before adopting VI tags, you can click again there. Thank you. We primarily use Adobe Analytics to measure our web performance. However, we wanted to be able to de-anonymize the website traffic so that we can understand who was visiting our website and to tailor our content strategy accordingly. So specifically, we wanted to understand the identities and intent of our website visitors and the impact of our campaigns on some key accounts. So to address these challenges, we integrated Bombora's VI tags with our existing tools. And you can click again there. We combined the domains from Bombora with our existing account information in Salesforce. And that allowed us to identify anonymous traffic and to look into their engagement patterns. We also brought together the first-party data from 6 Sense with what we got from Bombora. So that helped us to analyze the data at scale or to just focus on individual accounts as needed. And then to better visualize and slice and dice data from one single view, we were able to bring everything into Domo, which is our visualization tool. So that helped us to answer a few key questions raised by our stakeholders. and it can be shown on the slides. That is who are visiting our website and what intent signals are our website visitors showing. So moving on to the next slide, let's start by talking about the first key question we were asked. Which accounts are visiting Korn Ferry's website and what's the volume of the traffic? So here it is a table showing the top domains that visited our website sorted by the total unique visitors. Thanks to the integration of Bombora's domain data and the Salesforce account information we have, we were able to see which accounts are associated with the domains. So that allowed us to track and analyze the activities from key accounts more effectively. So next, we have a table highlighting the URLs with the most page views. So not surprisingly, and you can click again here, our homepage is always going to be on top of this list, but if you filter out the main page and the career related pages, that will review what specific capabilities are driving in the most visitors. And this can help us understand which solutions are resonating most with our audience. Moving on to the next slide. So this chart is actually inspired by Bombora's Audience Insight dashboard. So we created this web activity by week charts to help identify traffic trends over time. This is super helpful when we want to assess whether a specific marketing activity have successfully driven visitors to our website. And then go to the next slide. This is actually part of the main reason why we wanted to bring everything into Domo, apart from the reason about our user visibility. So this is to provide greater flexibility to our users. We implemented some pre-built filters on the Domo dashboard to allow users to focus on the areas of interests. So for example, here they can filter on to only look at marquee accounts, or they can also filter on the visitor's region, country, or industry. We also have some summary numbers below, and that will change based on what they filter on. This can help offer a quick overview of our web performance and just traffic volume overall. And then if you click again there, we also have a breakdown view of different metrics based on different stakeholder needs. For example, here on the screenshot, we're showing a breakdown of sessions. And moving on to the second question we had, what intent signals are our website visitors showing, and are these insights helpful in informing our content strategy? So we developed some tables and charts as shown here that are showing the top intent demonstrated by our website visitors along with their professional groups and predictive signals. So this allows us to tailor our content strategy to better align with the interests and needs of different audience. And it is also very helpful for our own business stakeholders to learn how to approach to the potential buyers regarding their web activities and intent. And then moving on to the next slide. I mentioned before that we integrated the first party data from 6sense. So that enhanced our abilities to understand anonymous traffic and their interests at scale from one single view. So we have this bar chart showing 6sense account intent score by account name by solution. And also we built two charts comparing Bombora search topic. So if you click again, that will be the Bombora chart. And then there is also a chart showing 6sense keywords. So this helps us to compare and provide a more comprehensive intent story. So moving on to my last slides here, let's talk about the results and our future plan. So by integrating VI tags insights into our larger data ecosystem, we were able to start building customized reports for different stakeholders based on their interests. And although we're still at an early adoption stage of these insights, our team have demonstrated significant interest in using these data to customize industry segment and create industry specific content. We're also excited to start implementing A/B testing to hopefully increase our website to increase our campaign performance and ROI. And these insights will also be very helpful in the future to help identify some valuable new accounts to target. So that brings us to the end of my sharing today. Thank you for listening, and I'm happy to answer any question you may have later.
Thank you, Catherine. That was great. And I love seeing the visualizations of how you used the data in the Korn Ferry environment in ways that would make sense to your team and your leaders. Because one of the things that is important to Bombora in this solution and also others is making the data easy to use and flexible enough to meet our clients where they are and how they need to use it. So thank you. That was very powerful. Next, I'd like to turn things over to Raul, who, as I mentioned before, is at World Connect.
Thank you for having me today. My name is Raul, Senior Director of Data Analytics and Science at World Connect. Been in the company for 6 years. Just to give you more context, we're an energy company. We provide liquid fuel solutions, energy management, energy procurement, and sustainability across the globe, over 200 countries in the aviation, marine, and then in the land segment. So our use case for Bombora, probably a little bit different. The Korn Ferry is like Catherine. It's basically, the business challenge that we're facing at the time. When I started my journey at World Fuel 6 years ago, a lot of the lead generation process was done based on ideal customer profiles. And many accounts would probably fit as a good lead because, they're a transportation company. However, not necessarily they were in the market for our goods and services. So business challenge was identifying within that huge pool of leads, probably millions of companies or thousands, which ones are really in the market. So somebody that comes to your website already knows who you are and most likely wants to do business with you. And if not, you can already, by the fact that they communicated with us or they came to our website, it's easier to identify who they are, and we can start working, marketing, messaging, or email campaigns. So generating high quality leads was the first one. And of course, that ends up building a more robust pipeline because we only close about 30% of the qualified leads. So the more quality leads you provide, the bigger the pipeline, which increases your close win rate. So in reality, what happens is the more quality leads and the bigger the pipeline, you win more. And you also reduce the time that it takes for you to close. A lot of the solutions that we sell are close buying cycles, on the liquid fuel side. But on the energy side, they're longer sales cycles. So they need to be nurtured and monitored throughout the journey. And reducing that close lead, the time that it takes to close, is very valuable to us. Also helps us prioritize the accounts. Sometimes we have a limited number of salespeople and many accounts that we could probably chase. Which one should we put on top? And Visitor Track combined with Bombora Intent gives us the ability to discern which one should be prioritized. At the end, all of these things, generating more quality leads, reducing the time to close, end up increasing the amount of revenue for the company. The role of identity resolution basically identify the specific product interest. So all of our landing pages are tagged with a possible product interest. And the product interest, so somebody lands on the page, either it's a liquid fuel or it's an energy management or sustainability. So it gives us a much better idea what they actually intend on that landing page is and the intensity of the intent. And that also paired with the amount of visits in the last 30 days or last 60 days, which gives us a more visibility on what the customer is probably looking for. Combining that web visitor data with other key data points such as third-party intent, firmographical data, the engagement on the contact level from our marketing automation system, and other external data sources such as carbon disclosures, gives us a 360-degree view of the accounts that we're actually working with. And that helps us dictate our marketing strategy, how are the email campaign, the content strategy, what needs to be put on the website, and also how the email should be addressed, or even if an account should be just contacted directly by sales. And that turns a lot of these data into actionable leads for sales. You can go to the next slide. So to streamline and create value from the data to insights, what have we done? So basically, within our CRM system, we have thousands of accounts. And using visitor track and other data points, we were able to use AI and machine learning to create segments, basically bucket accounts into different groups based on different characteristics that will help us dictate what should be the marketing place and the marketing tactics to follow. So some of these features coming from the landing page that they visited, which gives us an intent, how many times they landed on the page in the last 360 days, how many times they landed on the page in the last 7 days. Also, do they also have third-party intent? Because we can marry that data using the domain data. Do they have also engagement from the marketing automation system? Because we also have that information. If we have a contact, do they have any CRM activity? Do they have an account? Do they have an opportunity created? Have we won? Have we lost in the past? Do they have anything open with them? Transactional activity. I mean, does it seem like they're declining in the buying patterns? Have they purchased anything in the past? Did they churn at some point? Firmographic data, etc. So you put all that together, it gives you a 360-degree view of the account. So each one of the segments will have a recommended action based on the data that we see, and that will dictate the marketing playbook. And these insights can be delivered in multiple ways. It depends on the user and depends on the team. Sometimes we do a Tableau report, which everybody can access. Other ways we even do like automated emails to key stakeholders because we have all this data in Salesforce that gives us, who's the account owners are. So instead of having them go to a dashboard, we'll be more proactive and we can send out emails when we see certain triggers coming from visitor track. So on Monday morning, every Monday morning, a sales team will have what leads are coming to the website or what accounts, what are they engaging with? Is there any third-party intent activity associated with them, etc. Or we can serve that data directly into the CRM system. As a result of that, we have increased our lead conversion about 24% when we take the data from and compare those that we have visitor insight data versus those that don't have, because not every account will have probably visitor insight data. And also we have increased our opportunity win rate by 24% across the data that has been influenced by visitor insight. So as I said before, visitor insights coupled along with third-party intent and other data sources give you what I call a 360-degree view of the account and the lead that is really going to help you drive a more efficient and optimized sales process and streamline your marketing automation systems and create more value for the company. That's all I have for today. If you have any questions.
That's great, Raul. Thank you so much for sharing this. I love hearing how you really use the data. I think there's so much discussion rightfully right now about the importance of first-party data. But, collecting first-party data may be the first sort of challenge, but you don't really get any value from it unless you activate against it. And I think it's really exciting to hear how you were able to drive material results in your business by activating on the data and insights that you were able to put together from this.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. So the first step was really aligning with the company's strategy and the key stakeholders into what is actually needed. And so in our use case, they needed more leads and they needed more quality leads. So that helped us identify. So we did some brainstorming sessions and let's go ahead and find who's actually coming to our website that actually knows us, because a lot of the firmographic data, it's just an ideal customer profile that, yes, it is good. So it's not good enough because it doesn't really say who is really in the market. So coming from that and getting that 360-degree view, pairing that with third-party intent and other data sources, we can find which would be the accounts that should be prioritized. Now, serving that data is sometimes challenging. Like I said, you prepare all these reports and you put them in Tableau, and some people just sometimes then they don't go to them. So instead of that, I push the data across and I said, we know who the account holders are for each of these accounts because that data is in Salesforce. So we marry all that up and created an automated way to create alerts. So every Monday morning, they receive an email with their accounts and which ones are topping with intent, where did they land in the last 7 days, what's the presumed intent based on their behavior, do we have any contacts existing in our marketing automation system? So we put that in as well. Are they surging on third-party intent, and what topics are top topics? What are the average scores? We put that in as well. Do we have any opportunities with them in Salesforce? What's the status right now? We put that in as well. So we provide all these insights that will help them say, and then we rank the accounts. So they say this should probably be the top 10 of the week because there's only so much time and there's only so many resources that they can spare. I mean, there are probably hundreds of accounts that we could chase today, but they can only make, let's say, 20 calls in a week that are really effective, or 40 calls in a week. So how can we give them that one top 10 or top 40, increase their success rate?
It's awesome. I want to take a step back because I recognize that I think probably when Catherine and Raul present, it sounds easy, right? And they've had wild success and made a real difference for their organizations. I'd like to take a step back, and Catherine, I'd like you to share with us, for companies that are just starting on this journey and really thinking about what are my opportunities to collect first-party data, what more insights can I get out of my website traffic? What advice would you give to ensure a successful implementation and to start engaging stakeholders in the strategy and the potential of the solutions?
That's a great question. So from a marketing standpoint, I would say this is definitely across firm, but prioritize the data quality and accuracy. Because like I mentioned, we brought the data into our own data visualization platform. And also we were combining the Bombora data with other tools we're using, like Sixth Sense and also like our Salesforce data. So it's just very important to make sure everything flows smoothly and correctly from the very beginning so that you're getting the right insights. And also, I would say definitely define a clear use case and goals before you diving into the data and try to get insights out of it. Like Raul mentioned, we also have something similar. Like we are working on creating this way of prioritizing accounts. So we are working on putting different weights on this formula. We're using intent we got from Bombora. We are also putting in the data from our revenue and how much are in pipeline. So we're creating this robust formula utilizing all these data to understand what are the top accounts that we should be targeting or we should be reaching out. So this is like a super important thing as well, to just get a clearer vision of what success looks like. What are we trying to get? What are the accounts that we want to target? What should be the factors that we consider when creating this formula? So that is also something to us very important. And something else, I would say it's cross-team collaboration. So by bringing the data together and all the calculation and like definition of the formula, we had this alignment between marketing team, web team, and campaign team on our site. So that's super important because then everybody understands what's the value of these visitor insight tag data and how can it help everybody to drive a better performance. So for example, like for our campaign team, they're really interested in how this can help them understand their potential buyer to get personalized industry segment and even content. So having a shared goals and a transparent communication from the beginning and across the whole process really helped us.
That's terrific. I'm hearing in what you shared, what Raul shared, a need to think about which use case to start with. And, early on in this discussion, I presented, 4 that we often hear our customers engage on, but there are many more. Raul, how did you decide which use case to start with in your organization? And do you have it's a 2-part question. I should probably let you know. How did you know where to start? And do you have a roadmap of how to continue to get benefit and greater benefit from these data points?
That's a very good question. Visitor track data wasn't really for all the solutions across our company. So the first thing was to identify for which solution it was really a good fit. And then we came up with, after like aligning with the business and its company leadership, we decided on what segment we needed to focus on, that segment that we needed to grow, and what that data was going to be more valuable. So then we started experimenting with, especially on the energy side, that we're more new, and the fact that the segment was more innovative in terms of like technology also helped us, like it aligned well with the fact that there's a lot of also third-party intent data coming from that segment because of all the terminology. And what they really wanted to do was find a first opportunity within existing customer base that could probably be a fit for all of our solutions, and then net new that looked like those of our current customers. So the alignment with the business was the first part. And then the second part is, how do we plan to continue going? Yes. Unfortunately, we haven't really rolled out all this first-party intent industry across the whole company. I would say that probably 20% adoption as of now, because like I said, it's not a good fit for every single sales team or solution set. But we do want to increase by next year. The goal is to have at least 40% usage rate across, the segments that actually need this data, in the energy and sustainability side. And also grow the maturity level on, being able to go to the specific dashboards, continue using automated emails, triggers every Monday. Like, that's what really works so far. It's not really a one-size-fits-all approach. Like every user will have a different way of disseminating and using the data. It's finding and then getting that always closing that feedback loop. And did it work? How can we can make the tools better? Sometimes they're a lot more conversational than you think it is. Did it work? How can you make the tools better? Because we don't get that feedback from sales and marketing teams. You ever tool in a way that you can be able to and start from something and not wait until you have the final product, because probably going to be too late. It's always that you try those POCs and make them better in time.
One of the things I love about what you're saying, or I think it's very, very insightful and good counsel, is being intentional about what teams you start with and work with. And I'm hearing you say that there are some teams either who are supporting products where it's not a good fit, but I suspect maybe not in your organization, but sometimes in organizations, there's also a place where it's not a good mindset fit. And I think what I'm hearing you saying about being intentional, being a bit patient with how you roll out the data is very smart. And 2 years from now, it may be ubiquitous across the organization, but it will only get there if you're really thoughtful about how you introduce it and ask people to use it. So great and very good counsel for all of us. I want to be mindful of our time. I think the question that I'd like to end with, and you can both comment on it if you'd like, I'm hearing both of you say, the question is really, does it work? Catherine, I heard you talk about the quality and the integrity of the data, and I think, Raul, you actually used the phrase, like, does it work? And we hear that from our clients and customers beyond you guys as well. Like, the real litmus test is, does it work? The question that I have for you is, how did you think about what metrics to use to demonstrate, is it working? And whether your thinking about those metrics has evolved as you've gotten to know the data and see it in action over time.
You want me to go first? Yes. So basically, you need to have the data in the right place, because when we started the journey, we were not like tagging all these leads and accounts properly. So I had to go back and do a lot of like data exercise to say this opportunity, this lead was influenced by third-party intent or visitor track data. So when that happens, then you go back one step, and sometimes you get like, there's always going to be challenges, and people will say, how do you know it was influenced? So then you got to say the before and after. So it's first, data needs to be in the right place. But you also, the tools, yes, they definitely, to one of your questions, the tools work, and there's definitely value, but you need to continue pushing it through. You just can't. It probably won't happen on the first attempt. It won't happen on the second attempt. It'll probably happen on the third. Maybe you're lucky enough, it'll happen on the second. It's a continuous process of improving the way that you exhibit the data, the way that you marry all those data points, because when you have data coming from 11 source systems and 5 CRMs, it's not such an easy task. It's a big undertaking.
Yeah, so for us, I would say, because we previously used the traditional web measurements, and that's it. So all the same old stuff, like the total traffic, unique visitors. But now with this, we are actually shifting towards a more account-based and intent-driven metrics. So for example, now we are tracking which specific accounts are visiting some like our capability pages, what's the frequency, and like what are the pages that's got the most views from them. So that helps us to understand like what are catching our audience interests, and we're able to go into such a detailed level to look at only one account at a time. So that really allows us to go one step further to measure the quality and relevance of the traffic. And I would say another thing here is I think another metric that's very helpful for us is the campaign performance and ROI, because previously we are able to get this general campaign performance data, but now this is very helpful because we know that once we launch a campaign on a certain solution, then we can go to these data and see, okay, are they influencing our target accounts? Are those accounts actually visiting the pages we want them to go to? And also, we haven't started this yet, but this is our plan. We want to start. We wanted to start doing A/B testing on different content. So we want to roll different campaigns on different accounts and see like what's their reaction to all those. So that will help us to understand whether our marketing materials are actually working and converting people. And then so at the same time backstage, we are moving from a last touch attribution to a more multi-touch attribution model so that we can understand the whole customer journey. And then I would say these visitor insight data will be very helpful in identify the gaps we have in this customer journey, because then we will see whether these visitors are visiting a certain page, but they're not converting on that page, or they're visiting our capability pages that we want them to visiting, but they're not getting into contact with our sellers. They're not talking to us. They're not interested. So what's wrong there? What's going on? And that will help us to gradually, make this customer journey full and helpful to actually help the sales to convert all these leads.
That's awesome. I love hearing how much you're both doing because, you know, the tool, the solution is designed, you know, I think I used this phrase at one point to be sort of omniscient, you know, it knows lots of things. And I think it sounds like you're both using the data to answer lots and lots of different questions. And I think that can be very, very powerful for organizations. We are close to the end of our time. So I want to thank you both for joining us. I've really enjoyed, and I know our audience, or I'm certain our audience has as well, really enjoyed hearing from you both about your experience working with Visitor Insights. For anyone who joined us today, please don't hesitate to reach out to Bombora if you'd like to learn more. We are always excited to help others move along their data journey. So thanks very much and enjoy the rest of your Wednesday afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.